Andy, can you shed some light on the process that ultimately landed Bauer with the Dodgers?
Mets really weren't on Bauer for much of the offseason. They did change course in that. We've covered that ground before. So going over the last 24 hours, there was word that it was getting hot and heavier with the Mets and Bauer yesterday afternoon. In fact, I was told, and I believe Jim was too, we had sources saying that it was like kind of done with the Mets and Bauer. This is why you get two sources in this business. Thank goodness we didn't go with that. But there was stuff going on. The Mets had high hopes that they could get it done. And then it didn't really move. They were waiting to hear last night. They were waiting to hear today. There was a report. They said a deadline. That report was not accurate. They did not set a deadline. They were just kind of like, I don't know if Sandy was squeezing a stress ball or what, but they were waiting. And then finally they get word that once Bauer and his production team had finished their Dodger video, the Mets were told that they were out and Bauer was going to the Dodgers. The offers are obviously comparable financially. They were both offering the one-year deal, essentially, that Bauer wanted. Bauer got that one-year deal with the Dodgers because what that really means is 1 year of team control. He can go be a free agent if he chooses after this season. So he can say that he fulfilled that thing he'd been saying for years.
Listen, they still had the highest bid. Listen, they went a little conservative, I thought, with George Springer. I thought they could have been more aggressive there and ended up with George, and so they didn't. And I do think that that some things happened from that point on where you started to get a different feel. To Andy's point, they started to jump a little bit more into the Trevor Bauer sweepstakes, and so for them to be the highest bidder, I think it's not insignificant at all. So overall, $110 million for it's again aggressive. I never would have guessed, even last night when I was hearing the numbers, that he would have had a $40 million salary in 2021, $45 million in 2022. That's unbelievable, the numbers that they're at. But I think that the Mets put their best foot forward on this one. It just, for me, it seemed like it was more about ended up being location.
Look, they did everything they could. There's nothing more they could do. It seems like Bauer wanted to go to L.A., and he kind of got his wish, and he got the money that he probably wanted to get. So for me, this is more about, okay, where does this leave the Mets long term? Because that's where I think maybe Sandy in the front office lost that a little bit because they were obviously thinking short term with Bauer, and that's okay. But now I think it's more long term, and that's where they should be. And I think right now it puts them in a really good spot. They can go out, they can extend guys like Lindor and Conforto. They can, if they want to re-sign Syndergaard and Stroman after this year, they're going to have the money to do that. They're not going to have $45 million tied up next year in Trevor Bauer. And look, would you rather have Noah Syndergaard and Marcus Stroman in your starting rotation next year rather than Trevor Bauer? Yeah, I would.